Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hani and my friend name is Ita, and we are from the 7th group. We will represent about dilemmas and foundations in English language teaching. So in this book, the author uses stories and examples of clashes of value experienced by teacher, which are actually examples of general moral dilemmas faced by language teacher and teacher of English as foreign language. At this point, we will explain the central paradox of ELT, and then there are 3 points. The first, pedagogical dilemma. The second, dilemmas of teacher-student relations. And the last, dilemmas of beliefs and values. In the pedagogical dilemma, there are 5 points. The first, for language teaching to be meaningful is to balance the need to focus on language with simultaneous needs. This is closely related to the paradox of communicative language teaching, which pays attention to the content of the communication that occurs. The second, socializing students how to write and speak that is accepted, and at the same time nurturing their ability to express themselves in a way that is authentic to themselves. The third, how to balance the right to speak with the right to silence. The fourth, how to evaluate students fairly and objectively at the same time. And the fifth, how do teacher prove to students given that science rarely provides conclusive evidence about its effectiveness or vice versa. In the dilemma of the teacher-student relation, there are 3 points. The first, how a teacher forces students to take responsibility for their learning or accept the consequence for what they have done, given that students are often indifferent to their responsibilities, even though it is for their own interest. The second, how to balance the need to maintain student authority and respect with the need to maintain solidarity with them and be on their side. The third, how to balance the position as an individual, as a teacher, and as representative of the workplace institution. In dilemmas of beliefs and values are 4 points. The first, according to age 1999, to be involved in TESOL. TESOL is teaching English to speakers of other language. Anywhere is to be involved in issues of liberation and domination everywhere. So how to reconcile this fact with the positive values that teachers as ELT professionals? The second, the extent to which a teacher's religious and spiritual beliefs should directly or indirectly influence work in the language classroom. The third, if a teacher embraces tolerance as a value, how to respond if intolerance expressed by others in the class. The fourth, how do you align the identity of being a professional with the realities of ELT in some countries and contexts? Of course, all the points above are only conceptual aid. These dilemmas affect our pedagogy, all affect to teacher-student relations, and most importantly, all are rooted in the clash of values and beliefs held by the teacher. And then the search of foundation. The author explained that each teacher will have different views about moral dilemmas in classroom life. However, the author believes there are some fundamental problems that must be acknowledged if we first understand the moral contours of the classroom, and secondly, avoid moral paralysis in the face of uncertainty and ambiguity. The first and the most important, every teacher has a moral obligation to test his own values and beliefs about what is good and right for his own children or students. Even though the teacher must reflect to their own values in ways in which these values are either reflected or rejected in their practice. Secondly, there are some actions that are clearly more morally defensible than others. That in most cases, there are indeed righteous and good action to learn, as there should always be input for students into the structure and management of the class. The third types of judgments that have just been passed emerge from certainly keys values that are held but not only for oneself but shared by many people in the field.
Okay, next is the teacher-student relation revisit. Relation is the most important component of language teaching. I'm not advocating some touching feel friendship will all one student. So I think the bottom line is that every teacher negotiation a special relationship with student in different ways, and this is as it should be. Some teachers socialize with them student. The relationship between student and teacher plays a large role in the trajectory of children's academic success and social development. And then building positive relationship with their teacher helps students feel more comfortable and safe in their classroom environment. For example, a 2013 study randomly asked teachers to increase their interaction with students. There is some more knowledge about the teacher-student relation revisit. First, classroom is so phenomenally difficult. Learners are never compatible, and the more we meet them as individuals, as we should, the harder it is to compare them to one another, whether in test scores, the time we devote to them, or whatever. So, students are unpredictable in this classroom because there are too many students, so that the teacher here cannot judge either from the exam assessment or the attitude of the student. But the teacher must also be able to treat students the same. And then the second, value and moral. Value and moral dilemmas are played out in encounters between a particular teacher and a particular student at a particular moment in time. So, some students give special encouragement either because they need it or because they saw search promise or both. All these things, in my opinion, are value and moral dilemmas are played or out meetings between cert teacher and cert student and cert times at time. Our own contribution to the students, to the teacher and student relationship is morally best. Okay, we think enough for the appearance of our group. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.